A certain lonely kitty who was only a few weeks old was abandoned right on the South Bay area of California state. The kitty was left to survive by itself at such a young age. Fortunately, a group of sisters noticed it and took him in. The kitty ended up forming a very strong bond in their home with one of the sisters' Siberian Huskies that lived together with the other furry animals. The husky was called Lilo. While most of the time it's all warm and sunny in the state of California, it can also get quite chilly during springtime and also in the winter. This is especially the case in the northern part of the state. The little kitty cat really struggled to survive in the period of April 2015 all alone. Fortunately, a new type of warmth was about to reach this amazing kitty, and her lack would change forever. The poor kitty was fortunate enough to be rescued by someone special in the Southern Bay Area, an animal lover called Thoa Bui. Thoa was a Californian who had over the years rescued different animals and had grown to love them even more and more daily. That's why when she and her sisters called Thea and Tram found the lonely kitten, they didn't think twice about taking her with them. However, it's not that easy to take a stray cat in. The sisters came across the little kitten just near Thoa's co-worker's home. When Thoa saw her alone, her heart was broken. It's just that with cats, just because they are alone does not necessarily mean they are abandoned. However, since she had taken care of puppies and also kittens before, she knew she was to step in and save the kitty from this terrible situation. According to her statement to ABC News, the little kitten was lethargic, malnourished, and on the verge of death. Undoubtedly, you have to be a real professional before you actually take a stray animal into your home. Therefore, if you're not too sure or experienced when it comes to handling such a situation, the first thing you should do is call some professionals and ask them for help. Call the first animal center you can find. You should also be certain that the animal is abandoned, so for you to confirm that, you need to monitor the animal for a couple of hours. This is because sometimes a mother will leave their young ones for a while, perhaps to get food. They might come back. This was, however, not the case for this kitten. Do you know that you could cause trauma to a baby animal if you separate them from either their leader or their mother? It's really worse than you abandoning them in the streets. This is exactly why you should not let them stray away or scare them, since they shouldn't wander too far from their mothers and lose their way. It was, however, too obvious to this expert that the kitty needed some care, so Thoa decided to take her home. Thoa was so happy to take her home and was happy to take care of her. She called her Rosie. She was willing to do everything possible just to ensure the poor little kitty would remain nice and safe. It was necessary for little Rosie to eat well just like a baby. This would help her grow strong and would help her since she was at the time malnourished. That said, regardless of what she did, Rosie did not respond. As such, Thoa decided to call for some expert help. Fortunately for Rosie, the animal rescuer who was more experienced was very keen on helping her in any way possible. However, this was proving to be even more difficult than she thought it would be. Thoa explained to her how they too had tried to help her, but ended up failing in the process. The expert's heart was then growing very heavy as she could not figure out what more she needed to do to make the kitty comfortable. This was until Thoa to think further outside the norm. She thought she'd bring Lilo the Siberian Husky to give them a hand. The sad little kitten had been separated from her mother at a very young age. This was making Thoa nervous, and for a while there, she thought Rosie would not even make it for one more night without a proper meal. So if Thoa was unable to make her feel safe and confident enough to have a bite, she figured another furry animal would help Rosie feel safe and at home. She was right. Lilo managed to change everything so easily. Thoa explained to BBC that Lilo stayed by Rosie's side for hours. The two had an instant bond and cuddled up as the minutes slowly went by. This just showed how comfortable Rosie felt around Lilo. It was just a matter of time before Rosie was ready to start eating. She even tried sucking on Lilo for some milk as if Lilo was her mother. Lilo cuddled up with Rosie until she was confident enough to drink from a bottle. Rosie wasn't the only one feeling safe in that cuddling moment. Lilo was too. In fact, she lay beside Rosie for a couple of hours without getting up to eat that evening. Thoa was forced to bring the food to Lilo, that way Lilo didn't have to stand up. It was such an adorable sight. Thoa did not anticipate what was to come. According to Thoa, it was naturally impossible for Lilo to have children of her own. However, whenever it came to nurture, she had a natural motherly instinct. It was also very strong. During this first session of cuddling, Rosie felt that warm welcome from Lilo, and even cried for some milk. From what Thoa said to BuzzFeed, it's almost as if the two filled up a void in each other's lives. This was such a heartwarming connection, to think it was between a cat and a precious pup. Their unexpected connection proved to be quite a lifesaver. It was not only adorable, but also somewhat hilarious. Thoa had fallen in love even more with the two. She told the dodo that the two are always touching each other, proving that cats and dogs do not always have to be at loggerheads. At first, Thoa had the intention of taking care of the cat until it was all right, then letting a loving family adopt her. But this had suddenly changed. It would have never crossed anybody's mind that a Siberian Husky would have so much chemistry with a kitten that was just 3 weeks old. You would think they were both mother and daughter. They grew inseparable. That said, Rosie did not just gain Lilo, but a whole family, since Lilo was a member of a pack of 3 very adorable Siberian Huskies. They were called Miko and Infinity. Rosie may have grown fond of Lilo, but this did not mean she couldn't also feel safe with the other two. Since Infinity, Miko, and Lilo were all members of the same pack, they naturally did everything together. It turned out that Rosie also strongly felt connected with the other 2 Huskies, and the other 2 also welcomed Rosie to their amazing pack. They quickly became the best of friends. It was simply heartwarming. The 3 did not just become the best of friends, but Rosie felt the desire to do just about everything that both dogs and cats did. Rosie, a tiny kitten, was initially left at home while Thoa took her dogs out for walks. However, the little kitty would always grow sad whenever the dogs left, prompting Thoa's sister to suggest a bold idea: bring Rosie along on the walks. Though Thoa initially thought it was a crazy idea, she decided to give it a try. To their surprise, Rosie adapted quickly, enjoying the walks just like the dogs and even imitating their potty habits. She started to behave more like a dog, wanting to wear a leash and join in on everything. Over time, Rosie's transformation was remarkable. The once fragile kitten grew bolder and fearless, adapting to the dog-like habits of her new friends. Thoa allowed the dogs to decide how Rosie would fit into the family, and since Lilo, the pack leader, accepted her, Rosie became part of their close-knit group. Thoa decided that Rosie would stay with the dogs permanently, as they had all formed an unbreakable bond. Rosie, who believed she was a husky, treated Lilo as her mother and Miko and Infinity as her siblings. Despite her cat-like features, she thrived in her new role, bonding with the dogs more than the other cats in the house. Thoa explained that while Rosie still exhibited some cat behaviors, she primarily identified with the dogs due to the way Lilo and the Huskies nurtured her. Rosie even participated in the same activities as the dogs, from eating out of the same bowl to going on road trips and kayaking without fear. Although she was once a street kitten, Rosie had found her place within the Husky pack, and her love for them was undeniable. The family's bond was so strong that Rosie even began nurturing other foster kittens that Thoa adopted, mimicking Lilo's nurturing behavior. Thoa and her sisters had always shown immense love and care for their animals, and Rosie's story became an inspiration to many. They shared Rosie's progress on social media, and the family posted heartwarming videos of Rosie mothering the foster kittens. Despite never having her own litter, Rosie showed remarkable motherly instincts, demonstrating just how far the love and care from Lilo and the family had shaped her into a loving and compassionate pet. Rosie's journey from a lost, fragile kitten to a confident, nurturing member of the family is a testament to the transformative power of love and acceptance. Her bond with the Huskies and the family has captured hearts worldwide, and Thoa's family continues to share their adorable pet's progress with their followers.